Yes.
So I can do it live, or I can go.
Yeah,
I can give you the video. It's either way.
go for it again, just so everyone on Twitch can actually see the presentation.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, welcome everyone. We are Team Edge Anonymous, and we're developing a course content generator, which is basically a solution for educators, instructional designers, and learning and development professionals for around the globe. So our team members are Adam, Anastasia, Mohammed, and myself, Kareem. Adam is a PhD student focusing on LLP based out of Poland. Anastasia, I think I mixed up the flags there. Anastasia is also from Poland, not from Pakistan, who's a data analyst specializing in analytics and visualization. Mohammed is an aspiring data scientist from Pakistan himself, and I'm based out of Canada. I'm a software developer turned educator with 20 years of experience in education in multiple areas. So what's the challenge? The challenge is in a recent study by the Association of Talent Development in 2020, some of the top barriers to actually the production of rapid development of training include time. So a lot of the times educators and learning development professionals have little to no context of actually developing their course content, both in physical and online environments. They have lack of access to the subject matter experts or experienced individuals based on the topic that people are training for. There's a lack of budget. Generally, those budgets end up going to other parts of an organization. And then, of course, the time spent on researching and the quality assurance ends up going down. So the quality is also an issue when providing training and development. So what do course developers do now? They create course outlines, which generally takes many weeks and months. Most time is spent researching the topic and collecting varying source material, mostly text in this case, but they do collect images, video, and audio. And when the general rule behind actually developing, once they've collected this content, is for 1 hour of delivery time, so 1 hour of instruction, actually takes 50 to 700 hours of design time to build related content, depending on the e-learning or live training methods that are available. After creating the content, material is then provided back to a subject matter expert or someone who can validate and verify the content. And then this again is then recycled through hours of time trying to figure out if this is the right material. So what can GPT-3 can do to actually support developers is increase the efficiency, reduce time to review, and thereby increase the quality of content that is being pushed out, and then suggest the best content available based on the very little context provided, as I had mentioned before. So here's an example of a demo that we put through GPT-3. As I mentioned in the steps at the very top right, data is usually very unstructured. You're given documents, you're given emails, you're told verbally of what someone wants. You know, somebody in the C-suite will tell you, I want a course on NLP, and you're subject matter expert is not available, or you're just on your own as a small learning development team. You don't know what to do. You can grab information from, in this case, we grabbed it from IBM and Wikipedia and just toss it into a nice paragraph or description. And then in step 3, you can actually provide what is known as so Bloom's objectives is known by all learning and development professionals, educators around the globe, and that's how they start to develop content, but it requires a lot of thinking power. What you have to do is actually follow a long process in order to just develop a learning objective. In this case, you provide the first one, and then through GPT-3 on the step 4, it was able to generate all the other learning objectives based on the description. And if you look at the learning objectives, they're very, very diverse. They talk about being able to implement and train a variety, debug and visualize their own neural networks, invent their own neural network, trade-offs between different types of ML. So it's a lot of theory and practice involved in the learning objectives themselves. So this explains how GPT-3 can actually help in this area. But what this leads us to do is that our team has solved for the most challenging part of content creation, which is the development of learning objectives. However, if we were to extend this and scale it, you could actually create a facilitation guide with timing. You can automatically populate links to content or suggested material, and you can develop an entire course catalog or that higher education institutions spend thousands and thousands of dollars and thousands of people hours doing this and trying to develop that entire catalog catalog. So overall, you can build an application that supports educators and learning development professionals to rapidly develop content and support in this area without actually having to spend a lot of time. Then they can use that time to creating the unforgettable learning experiences rather than focusing on the content itself. And that's all. Thank you. Ready for questions whenever you are.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this time everyone should have seen it, but so that's good. All right.
Great.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, we do not have any questions from the audience as of now. Pavel.
Okay, so I
You
would
have
have a question for our first guest. Education is a pretty hard target to address. I don't know if you are familiar with it from a business side, but it's very hard for projects to pitch to get contracts with education facilities because they're budgeted yearly. It's mostly government, so also a government client is always pretty hard. Um, Educational facilities, if we are talking about most in Europe, aren't also the best paying ones. Like they are not high profit organizations. So, what do you think the pricing model would be for such a client? It's a pretty hard target group, if I can give you some.
Yeah, I can speak to that actually. The next trillion-dollar startup I can tell you is an education company. So in the ed tech space, I've worked in Silicon Valley in an ed tech company as well. Generally, all that time spent on developing content versus the actual business experience takes up a lot of resources and time. So the business model pricing on this would be to provide that application where people can provide the context, provide what they want, plug it into the application, and then based on the standards, like what do they need? Do they just need a list of a course catalog description? Do they need an entire facilitation guide? Do they need a deck that goes along with it? And it just speeds up the content process. You don't necessarily need the subject matter experts because all the material through, whether it's through Coursera, Udemy, all the online learning platforms, you can create the new content and allow that experience or consulting service to support individuals on the actual learning experience rather than the content itself. Content is no longer the new king in the education space as it once used to be because there's so much available content that's out there, but people just don't know how to structure it. So providing either a business case or model in tiers, or the application itself could be provided to the general public as a way to get into that, and then the rest of the services will be provided on the back end. That was just
Okay,
yeah.
so let's skip the government part. And if you are targeting professionals, there's also the issue that how many times during their customer lifetime would they use it? Because everybody creates content, but at some point you just recreate what you already have, maybe update it. So the first case of using the tool would be a pretty significant boost for that person, but each next use would be like smaller and smaller. The marginal benefit would keep decreasing, maybe.
Yeah,
What
so
do you
what I think about that is you're absolutely right in terms of the one-time use, but or the few-time use, I would say. But what's happening now is in the learning and development space is the combination between different learning. So I don't know if you saw in the World Economic Forum, the top skill is actually emotional intelligence now, not content-based or skill-based. So it's again moving away from the skill base and then allowing them to get the content out of the way and then providing that service on top of that that says, okay, now that you have this content, how do you deliver it in a way that's going to resonate with your audience and the learning experience itself? So it's the back end. This is kind of like the premium, the way to get in, the low hanging fruit, and then developing a platform based off of this. So one thing that I can tell is that I actually submitted something to MIT Solve, which it would develop a platform on personalized learning experiences based on this. So you would start with this on the content and then start building out what would a personalized learning experience be per individual. And because people are complex, that's an ongoing business model as well.
Yeah,
So it's a primer.
Yeah, you partly answered my next question. So the issue is always with startups and projects like this. It's always beneficial to be in the mega trend. So let's leave online education on the side because it was always like that. But the personalization of education is the strongest, probably currently trend in education. The highest, the mega trend there. So at least the current proposition doesn't address that. It's so you do, but you do, I understand you do see that your current solution which you presented is like the first step, and then you would still need to supply it and make it even more customizable for the recipients of the courses.
Exactly. So this starts at, yeah, this can start as the starting point. So what are the learning objectives?
We are running out a bit of time here, so we need to move on because else it will take a long time to go through this. But I have one last question. What was your experience building with GPT-3, and what is your personal view? Where do you think this will be, say 2 years from now?
Yeah, I think in the education space specifically, there's not a lot of people that are using these types of tools to move forward and thinking forward about getting away from the content. I think it was Dali that said it. You know, if you go to the top and you combine those learning experiences and you say, hey, I want to develop a Minecraft that's going to talk about, you know, religious education, for example. You could do that, and the GPT-3 will provide those inspiration for moving educators in new directions, rather than getting, you know, to the traditional format of learning where they say, oh yeah, we're learning about physics and you have to learn this and this and this. It's going to expand the learning and development space much further than it needs to, or where the status of it is right now, with a lot less money, a lot less cost.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely. All right, so thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you for participating during this weekend, and I really hope to see you again. All right.
Absolutely, it was fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's see.
Hello.
All right, now we are ready to go. So whenever you're
Okay, are you
ready,
able to hear me now?
yeah,
Are
everything
you
is
able
good.
to? Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you to both of you, and thank you, everyone. My name is Arif Khan, and I'm part of the AI Evolve team. Let me share my screen over here. Uh,
Yeah, sure.
okay. So we are a two-member team, myself and Zaid Khan. We are based in Chicago over here, and I've been in IT field for past 25 years. I own this company named AI Evolve LLC, and I do consulting in AI space for various companies. One of my client currently is a company named Hushly that's based in California, and I lead the AI or the data science team over here. And I've been interested since long in GPT-3 and always wanted to play around with it and got this opportunity through this. Zaid Khan is an intern with AI Evolve LLC. He helps with coding and a lot of brainstorming exercises that I have. Uh, our application or what we sort of thought of for this specific GPT-3 challenge with deep learning lab is we thought of various options, and the big challenge I think that we thought of that we resonated with, again, that's uh, in the education space, is this, right? Like think put on a hat of a student, where you are a student and you are in a high school or specifically high school, and think of yourself as someone who is in a low income community. You get the same set of content that is given to everyone in the best of the schools. There is no distinction. But being from low income communities, sometimes the students don't get access to private tutoring or custom education as regular or other students in maybe the high income or the middle income communities get. And this creates a big impact on their own learning and their own life, right? And so what we thought of is, if we put on this hat, what could we do with GPT-3 or with the new technologies that come up that could elevate this problem? And so we thought of prototyping something in this space. And the application that we built or that we thought of is called, we named it Explorer. It's a temporary name, but basically it's a tool created for students who want to learn about any topic in a short amount of time in a manner they resonate with, because it's not the same education that everyone gets, but you can customize it. And it uses the question answer functionality of GPT-3 to process documents and present with answers. And uh, how what we did in order to build the prototype over here is we have built this concept of an exploration. Think of an exploration as a topic that you're interested in. Say, I am studying science and I want to study about different galaxies. So I would say that I want to explore galaxies and want to learn about it. So, how the journey starts is that you would start browsing through your Chrome browser or any of the browser. You would search on Google, and then you would start reading through different URLs or different pages. And say you like a specific page, so you would say that, hey, how about if I submit this page to my GPT-3 to learn from it, right? And so what we have done is create a set of URLs for an exploration. You submit it to this application. This
One
application
quick
uses,
question, just because we only see your first slide, so have so maybe
yeah.
yeah, now
Oh,
we see
yeah.
now we see
Okay. Yeah.
another slide, because it was on the first
So
one all the time.
did you see this slide?
No.
Uh,
Okay, so let me just go through this very quickly. So these are the challenges that I mentioned. I just wanted to emphasize the challenges again, where this is a standardized content that is given to everyone, right? And especially students from low income communities don't get access to custom education. And how do we go and provide custom education to these students without having them to enroll in tutoring or some highly paying or high costing methods? And this is where we thought this Explorer or the tool that we built would be helpful. So the tool that we built or the application that we are thinking of building is, it would be a tool for students who want to learn about any topic that they want, and it uses GPT-3 as a functionality. Uh, at the base of it, students would go through something called an exploration, where they would explore a specific topic. As part of the exploration, they would submit. They would browse the internet, and if they find something that's interesting to them for that topic, they would submit it to the application. The application would use Beautiful Soup, Python library, to get the text content from those documents and make them available as documents to GPT-3, where the students can subsequently ask question and get answers out of it. The software components that we have, and there are two of them that we prototyped and that I'll demo now, is Django REST API background. So this was basically interacting with database as well as GPT-3. We have a React client app that interacts with this backend. And this is something we don't have it over here, but we are prototyping is a Google Chrome extension. Like that would allow users to add URLs to their exploration. So as you are exploring a topic, you like it, you just click on add to my exploration, and then it would get added to that, and then subsequently it would be made available to that application. Let me share my other screen and show a quick demo, and then I could take specific questions. Change windows. Let me
Yeah, we
go
will need
to
to
my
try to keep to around 5 minutes for the presentation, so
yeah,
everyone knows.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the tool that we have. We call it Explorer. The pricing, we can talk about it at the end, but basically there would be uh, a free level pricing that where we allow very limited number of topics, documents, and answers that would be made available to the students to try out. And then there could be a pro option with a specific number of topics and documents and answers. And then there is a super user where they pay more and they get more access to more topics, more documents, and more answers. Students would have an ability to sign up. Here I have already signed up, so I'm just logging in. Okay. So this is how it starts, right? Say I am interested in a specific exploration. So I'll say I'm interested in an exploration for, say, Andromeda galaxy, right? And now what I would do is right now we don't have this Google Chrome plugin. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just searching for Andromeda Galaxy, and I'm just taking one of the URL. I like this URL. So I would go and I'll say add document, and I'm adding this document over here. So as you see, the document got submitted, and it using Beautiful Soup, it collected a set of the content from this specific URL and made it available over here. Let me add another document to it, one more of that should at least give me a better answer. Let me add this one, Britannica.com, and okay. And now I have two set of documents available to get answers on. And think of it, I am a student, I had reviewed these pages, I liked those, and these are made available. Now I could say get answers, and I could say what is . and click on get answer. So at this point in time, it made a call to GPT-3 answers API using the documents that we had uploaded, and now it's giving me an answer, right? I'll say, uh, right. So basically, you are interacting in real time with GPT-3 using the documents that you had submitted. So, and these explorations would be available for students later on. So now I can always go back and see what were if I do get answers. So all my history of my previous uh, questions is all available over here, and I can do multiple explorations. I want to do research on DNA, research on whatever, and the students, this would give them an ability to learn any topic they want with the documents that they want, exploring whatever
All,
they want. And
all
this
right.
is our prototype.
Thank you so much. We unfortunately need to to move on here, else this gonna take all night. But you will have a chance to upload a recorded video and so in your submissions to where you can go through it more in detail. All right, so thank you so much for the presentation. We don't really have time for any questions right now, as it took a long time. But I just want to ask quickly, what was your experience working with GPT-3, and was it as you was expecting? You told me you have
Yeah.
been interested in trying it out for a while. So did it surprise you positively or negatively, or?
Oh, absolutely. It was positive, and the quality of responses that we are getting from GPT-3. We played around with other APIs also since yesterday, but we kind of finally ended up using the Answers API. But really, the quality is very good, and the best thing is that I like is that the time to train. Right, like if I have a set of documents, there was really no time it took for GPT-3 to learn from it, and sort of we talk about transfer learning process or whatever, learning from new content that we provide, and that was amazing. And I think next thing I want to explore is more on the classification side, because topic modeling is one of the things that I'm interested in. And say in this application, if a student is interested in a topic, how would you start recommending students more articles or something that could enhance their journey, right? And
Yeah.
just thinking from that perspective.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for the answer. And yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. It allows GPT-3 really allows to bridge so many functions that elsewise would have taken forever, if even
Yeah,
possible
right.
to do. And such things as classification also can basically be built in 10 seconds. It will take 10 days or 10 months elsewise to actually
Yeah,
build it from
absolutely. Yeah,
scratch.
and then the infrastructure costs are not there, right? Like as a service, if I want to provide a service, I don't need to train my models somewhere and then deploy it and so on. So it's a one-stop shop. So very, very curious and interesting.
All right. So thank you so much for your presentation. Some applause. I forgot to upload
Yes.
the last time, so I applaud double for this. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so let's bring in the next one. I will just let the stream be on this time. I will mute the sound.
Okay, I've just shared my screen now, so just let me know when you can see it.
We can see it.
You can see it? Okay, excellent. Okay, so hi, we're Team Octopi, and we provide intelligent analysis for user interviews. Our mission is to reduce the time needed to analyze feedback from user interviews from days to minutes. To set the scene, there's two types of user research. Generative research, which looks for opportunities and problems, and evaluative, which tests features once you have a prototype or a product to put in front of a user. Now, most of the tools out there focus on the evaluative feedback, but generative feedback is just as critical, and it's usually carried out before product design even starts. In startups and small teams, there's rarely a dedicated user researcher, so product managers and designers have to do the job, and they need more help. In fact, just 1 hour of user interview takes approximately 5 hours to extract and code the key points and identify common themes. It's a labor-intensive and detailed process. We can see in the 6-step process that steps 2, 3, and 4 are where the analysis is done, and they involve reading all of your data from beginning to end, coding it, and encapsulating it in themes. So in terms of the existing software that's out there to help, the market is fragmented and tools are manual and disjointed, and this leads to long research cycles and hard to prove ROI. Introducing Octopi, we worry about the what problems exist, what do users think, what do they do to solve them now, what would they like to see instead, and allow you to focus on the so what. Can I build a solution? Will they move away from their existing workarounds, and so on? We'll use GPT3 to take the manual, laborious work away from you and identify the key findings and themes from your research. So we'll demo the prototype shortly. But first, just a quick look at the why now. Whereas most user research was conducted in person before now, COVID has meant that we've all had to move online with our interviews, giving us the digital input that we need for our solution. And on the back of the pandemic, the number of new startups has jumped by 24%. Finally, UX design is one of the fastest growing skills out there. So that's a lot more user interviews in the future. In fact, product managers and UX designers spend 30% of their day on user research, and these roles are growing year on year. Overall, the user research market is predicted to be worth around 520 million by 2027. We'll come back to the demo in a minute because I'm going to video. But in terms of the team, Kit and Eric are the developers who've done all the work with GPT-3. Juanisa has done the UX design and the research in terms of the user interviews, and myself and Cathal have been involved in other elements. I'm a founder myself, so this problem is close to my heart. Lastly, just before we go to the demo, this quote here from Andreessen Horowitz kind of gives light to how big this problem is. They say, we believe we're in the early days of a new tooling for user research, and there'll be several valuable companies created in this space. As the product-led trend continues, the speed and precision to understanding customer insights will be the most important competitive advantage. We're looking forward to speaking with founders and teams building the future in this space. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to stop sharing there and I'm going to jump over to the demo.
Sounds good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so here we have a demo whereby we took for the purposes of our prototype, the theme of is third level education, is college worth it? And we can see here that we start off, we look at our interview question. That's the question we've asked the users that we interviewed. And we get all of the transcripts that have resulted from those user interviews and we upload them to GPT-3. you can see that we're pasting a small bit of transcript in here, but there's a full PDF behind that with the interview text. So the user has told us what their experience was in terms of the pros and cons of college. And we then use GPT-3 to feed it all this information, and it does the analysis for us. It tells us what are all the pros that were pulled out of that interview and what were all the cons. Now, this, for the purposes of this weekend, it's a simple demo, but hopefully it will, show you the power that GPT-3 has to cut out an enormous, time-consuming, laborious, and, as I say firsthand, I can tell you, you're tearing your hair out with the amount of hours that you spend analysing all of this user interview information when you have so many other things to juggle as a startup or as a small company. So I'm going to hand over to Eric now. He's going to jump in and just explain the technology and the elements of GPT-3 that we used to build this solution.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
But could you speak a little bit louder or closer to the mic?
Okay.
Thanks.
So we started out, is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So we started out with pretty basic, simple switching between Cary and DaVinci engines, and just taking the large amount of text and working with, I guess, querying the data between like wrapping the text within like a header and a footer to be able to give the GPT-3 instructions of what to look for, just like the examples that are throughout the OpenAI website. What I have noticed even recently in the past like hour is just changing the engines and even changing to the new beta query instruct end up yielding better results as far as how it separates out the data a little bit more and separates out the how it kind of follows the instructions of the header and the footer a little bit more to give more fine-tuned answers of what we're looking for in our results. It would have been really nice to get in further. I think with the other types of things like the classification and the search and the answer questions, adding that JSON data, I believe that would have really kind of extended this a lot further and really fine-tuned what we would find. Do you have any questions?
Excuse me. We'll see here if we have any question. We have some in the chat here. So we have a question on Twitch, which is: do you anticipate any bias in collection of data, and how do you mitigate that?
Probably within the classifying text and the answer questions, using that as more of a fine tuning before actually going to fine tuning. I think that would really help. We haven't really had a chance to explore that route, but I do believe being able to add in data to that and be able to utilize that, I think would help yield better results.
Okay, thank you. We have one other question here. So, is it possible to extend this ID to other sources of data? I'm a bit worried that in some areas, user interviews may be misleading. Do you see your system working with data from A/B testing, for example, or other statistical number data?
Well, I think the idea of
Yeah.
is to really focus in on the actual, really have a focus in on a certain transcript or interview in particular. I guess it could be possible to, A/B against another transcript or another source, but I think the idea of the research for this was to go against, a controlled data source.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to jump in on that as well, just to add to what Eric was saying there are a lot of tools out there looking at A/B testing and being able to analyze the data once you have a product to put in front of users. Where we're trying to deal with the gap in the market, whereby you're at the early stage and you're doing your user interviews to figure out, is it worth building this product in the first place, for example, or doing this innovation in the first place. We're not looking at when the product is built and you have something that you can put in front of the users. There are a lot of tools in the market for evaluative feedback.
Okay, thank you. So the only question I have, I think it's a good idea. It seems like you are possessing quite some domain knowledge within the area in the team, and understanding that this is a time-consuming task. So with some previous experience in this area, it could be possible that you guys are sitting on quite some data. So have you thought anything about using already existing data to fine-tune a model towards it?
Yes, we did actually, as part of what we did for this prototype for this weekend, we took data from Reddit and Quora in terms of what people were posting on there, what they think about the pros and cons of college. So we didn't do real user interviews this weekend, and that's something that our tool would heavily focus on as well, not just pulling in your own user interviews, but showing you the external data, which there's a huge rich source of out there on all topics. You can go into Reddit and obviously find threads on anything. So yes, that would definitely be part of the product.
Okay. Yeah, what I meant is so you have a function that was released a few months ago. So it's called fine tuning. So because currently when you are running GPT-3, you use something called few shots learning. So you show a very few examples and it replicates it. But then you have the fine tuning part. So if you would have if you would be able to collect a previous data set of user interviews where actually a person have gone through and lifted out these pros and cons, then you will be able to show the system basically the interview and the extraction, and you will be able to actually achieve that type of level and that exact behavior. So that I think is something you should look into if you would continue on with this product, because I believe the use case are really, really good for this technology. This is what it's good at, to understand unstructured data and lifting out the data that you actually are looking for. All right, see if we have anything more.
Great, thank you, Matthias. That's really helpful feedback on that. Thank you, and we'll definitely take that on board.
Yeah, and that will also, so when you fine tune a model, that will also not only help to achieve a lot better result in the area you are aiming towards, it will also lower the costs, because now you will get an engine that is more adapted toward a specific task instead of very, very wide. So it lowers the costs also of actually running GPT-3 when you have a fine-tuned model. All right, so thank you so much. Good idea. Are you guys planning to continue forward with it after this event, or no?
We need to have a chat about that, I think.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
We need to have a chat.
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right. Who do we have next?
Keep Underflow.
As well. So we'll do I will show rather a presentation, and Patrick will show the demo, if it's all right.
Awesome.
Okay. Great. So I believe we can start.
Okay,
Ouch. Let me try. Do you guys see the screen?
Yeah. So the cake is alive. You could also come in then maybe start a screen or start a camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's still loading, so maybe the same issue as previously with the security settings. Or do you see Mateus?
I see here. But we have two which screen should we look at first?
First, a presentation, I believe.
Yes, exactly.
Do you see it?
Okay. All right, it's coming here. Not showing. Are you using Mac? In that case, you need to go and allow it
Yeah.
to show your screen. So basically, if you click the Apple icon up in the left, and then you choose
Okay. Open
then
system preferences. Okay, I see.
security and
Discord.
privacy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have
You can choose.
screen recording.
Okay, hold on. Let me try maybe again. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, my name is Elizabeth. Alongside Erwin and Patrick, we have.
We see the Twitch or the Discord in your screen sharing though, so I don't know if that's the thing you
The
aim to
desktop.
share.
Stage Discord ouch. Screens, entire screen. Let me try. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we are the team of Hip Underflow. Me, Elizabeth, alongside Patrick and Erwin, we have built the Actionist. So imagine there are a lot of meetings that's happening going on, like often, like whether in business cases or in many like universities. There were people trying to there are a couple of like different like problems appear that let's say when the meetings are going like too long, the conversation between let's say the lecturer and every particular person when they're discussing different projects, they might lose some key moments of what has already been discussed, right? Like what they actually supposed to do, especially when they have a very overwhelming schedule and they might not remember the summary. So then there is also the problem for the person who is organizer of this meeting, let's say is a tutor or is some manager, to summarize all these items for everybody who was participating on this particular meeting or class, etc. So there are plenty of notes everybody has, but like how to get like the key point out of it. So somebody like you may also like promise to many people to share some additional materials about what has been discussed, and again it's difficult to keep up to all these promises. So many current solutions, they are just providing speech-to-text transcripts that you basically have to go through, and you don't know how to exactly summarize it and how to pull all this important information that will interest only you, right? So like what are the key points of all these hour-long discussions, conversations, and where we come here, Actionist, we are pulling the video streams from, let's say, Google Meet or Zoom or wherever these conversations are going to happen. Maybe it's just an uploaded video class on YouTube with discussion with your peers, and you would like to be processes through the speech-to-text analysis, and we are pulling out all the important insights. For example, what actually should concern you? What are your upcoming tasks, assignments? what exactly you're supposed to do next, right? Because this is what actually important. So we are trying to pull all the action items, events, some references and assignments per particular person who was participating in this particular conversation or class. So this is exactly what Akshanis does. We are doing the brief summary of all the notes that was happening, name mentioned people who are concerned about the notes, let's say who are participating actively in the discussion, who this discussion concerned to. We are listing down a task associated with all these people and exporting this action list outside so you can easily share it in with one click with somebody else. Let us maybe show the demo at the very end, and in the meantime, just quickly tell you what our future steps would be. So for now, we will present a demo where we just have as an input as a transcripts from some particular conversation, and then in the future we may do some integration, basically processing through some video and let's say audio streams. Right, and then we are planning to do, let's say, custom integration so that all these action items inside could be pulled in some particular platform, right? We are also want to make all this sharing also secure, right? So it's rather through the integration or through some protected links. And in the future, we may also enhance the solution with some meeting recommendations, reactive assignments for unassigned tasks, and so on. Our business model is basically the freemium. Like first, we will charge users. We will not charge the users, so they will get some basic summaries and items, but we will, of course, enhance some limit upon this solution. Right, so they will be able to use only for 1,000 minutes per user per month. And we also, like in premium version, we are offering $20 a month. And of course, obviously the limit increases. We also allow them to share the notes, have some enhanced summarization and integration to other platforms. So of course, that's definitely going to be more advanced for some universities and enterprises type of solution. And right now, before we wrap it up, I would like Patrick to show a brief demo of our product.
Great. So before I get started, do you guys see my screen?
No, not yet.
Wait here, I'm trying to see.
Give me a moment, then I'll just restart my stream. That just happens sometimes. Does it work?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Right, yeah, so let's just briefly look at how what Elizabeth mentioned could work in practice. So let's say we have some transcript generated, for example, by some text-to-speech program or later integrated on our product itself in some random Google Doc. And now we can just take this and plug it into our tool, Actionist, and with just a click of a button, now in the background, GPT-3 is called, and it starts analyzing the meeting, summarizing it, finding out who is actually in the meeting, and obviously it also, in this case, figures out what actually needs to be done by different people. And as we can see, everything, as I said, is there. Like the meeting is summarized. These are the participants and what each of them need to do. Now, obviously, if you want to save this information for later, so you can easily look up what, for example, you need to do, then you can just, in this case, download it, or in other cases, just, use it in our platform. You could also, for example, easily take some other transcript, also longer ones, and those work just as well. And yeah, obviously everything is possible of expansion here. You can do a lot more things like extract when certain things need to be done. So there are a lot of cool perspectives and directions we can go in with this. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Good presentation. All right, I will see first if we have any questions here. Not yet. One on Twitch saying nice business model. Okay. Personally, I think it's a great idea because I always zoom out when I'm listening to something and do not really remember what was said or can really take actionable things or back up on things said in meetings because nothing was ever noted down. Let's see. All right. So
I would add a little thing. Like the tool looks very nice and it's useful for sure. Even in a VC, like we have, even last month was 300 conversations with startups. So such a tool from one side would be useful. You just need to watch out that it's not for each type of conversation because of privacy. People, when they are recorded, tend to be less creative and less open. So in general, it would be a tool for specific meetings, like the more important one and not creative ones, probably. Yeah, but as a tool, it looks useful for multiple cases.
We have a question here on Twitch. So, do you see it also as a service that would send out emails to employees or everyone that was participating in the meeting afterwards?
Well, definitely some integrations are like right possible. So like as we said, like sharing is a kind of next step, right? Because downloading is the simplest we could feature today.
I can give you guys advice, something to look at. So there is a service called it's called Fireflies
AI.
Fireflies.ai. Yeah, exactly. And it's I have been using it myself, but it's missing this function to actually bring out the context from the conversation. But something you guys should look at there is how it records all the meetings. Because instead of connecting to all the APIs or trying to pull the video, it simply have a little bot that automatically follows you to all meetings and just record the sound. So if you guys would decide to continue with the product, I think you should look into how they are solving it technically with actually grabbing the content, because I think they have a pretty good approach on it there.
Thank you a lot for the feedback.
Okay, so I want to ask you guys also, what was the experience of building with GPT-3, and where do you guys believe this will be, say, 2 years from now?
Well, as GPT-3, definitely Patrick could say more because we've done like a lot of different practice, different calls and different like approaches, right? Because in some cases it was not working. We were trying like different, more like generalized approach, like different prompts, etc. So it was definitely a very interesting experience. So maybe Patrick, you can add something.
Yeah, certainly. So generally working with GPT-3, as Elizabeth has said, obviously it's engineering, right? You need to fine tune your prompt. Sometimes it doesn't work as you expect, and then you fine tune. But really, like overall, I find it's a really rewarding experience because like when I use GPT-3, it feels really like suddenly I can just connect a lot of different new things from the world to a computer and make it understand things that it couldn't before, and that's super exciting. So I love building things with GPT-3. And I'm also really excited where things are heading, for example, with DALI and other multimodal tools. For example, in the future, image generation could be possible, and combining that with text. I'm really excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely have a very interesting future, and from our perspective, just what we have seen since GPT-3 was released last year until up to today have been very surprisingly how fast it actually moves. But a lot of that comes also from with AI technologies, we can solve hard functions and hard problems much faster. So it's really adding this acceleration in all segments of technology. Okay, we see if there's another question. I do not. It's a long question. I do not really understand it. Actually, it's something about 1,000 minutes. Okay, let's jump that one. Okay, cool. Are you guys planning to make reality out of this, or is there anything you haven't discussed yet?
Well, we'll see how it goes. It's also something similar. We are working as a part of startup, right? So, but yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so just so everyone knows, we need to update the information on the website, but we will launch about an 8-week long equity-free program to pretty much try to help those that want to get out on the market. Of course, it needs to be something that have a applicable business model and so on. But we will update that information on the website tomorrow. So anyone that are interested can apply for it. Okay, thank you so much for the presentation and really good application of GPT-3 technology, I would say. Same with previous one with extracting data and so on. This is really where it shines to bring structure from unstructured data, and that is kind of the superpower that traditional technologies can't really handle today. Okay, so thank you. So, okay, who do we have next? We have Yattis, Big Community AI.
Hi.
Hello.
You
do you have
able
any
to see
camera?
me yet? Yeah, I do. It's turned on. I just don't know. There you go. I think my lighting is extremely bad. Make it any better.
I can admit that I have had my conversations with Yattis before, as he's been in our acceleration program on NextGrid, and yeah, usually you have a lot better light. I can admit. All right.
You are shining.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Probably I'm an angel, that's why I'm shining.
Super happy to see you here and that you are attending. That's very nice. So we are super excited to see what you have done. Now you have a lot to live up to here. So.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to match what the previous guys have put out because they congrats to all of the previous guys who have come before me. They've built some pretty awesome solutions and applications. So
yeah,
let me just get straight to it. Yeah, I think that the previous guys, actionist, there is some serious potential there. So if they're hearing me, good luck. I hope you guys take it further. So we are Fit Community AI, and ours is just a simple chatbot, a simple interactive chatbot, which would give a user healthy food choices and healthy food recommendations based on things like their age, their gender, and if they have any pre-existing health conditions, and etc. etc. So we found that lots of people these days, they just go and grab a quick meal out of their refrigerator or out of their grocery cupboards and just take their meal and then rush out the door and go to work or wherever, without even taking into account how their meals are going to affect their days and their lifestyles as well as their health in future. So what we have done is we have built a interactive chatbot where people are able to put in, are able to say something like, I'm a 35-year-old male, I have diabetes, and I also have high cholesterol as well. And when they just run those options through the chatbot, it will give them a list of healthy meal options that they can use to prepare their meals, and which would then help them to live a much healthier lifestyle as well. And then what we think of in future for this is to also build sort of a product recommendation system as well that would recommend other alternatives, other health product alternatives as well. And it could also say things like, there's a product that's selling at a discounted rate in your local supermarket, and you could buy this product as well, and it will also help you to live healthier. So what we have done is we've used GPT-3's chatbot functionality to build our chatbot. And let me just run through my presentation for you as well. Present. Not sure if I'm sharing my screen.
Let's see, maybe I need to. No, not sharing what I can see.
There you go. Able to see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes, there we go.
That is your partner in aiding you to live a happier and healthier lifestyle. So basically, our bodies need nutrients and vitamins to help the body and brain function and grow. To help your body get these nutrients and vitamins, you need to eat a well-balanced diet. Poor food and eating choices leads to improper health and a bad quality of life. And unhealthy eating can also lead to health issues and complications later in one's life. So our solution is an interactive AI chatbot that provides an individual with a few healthy meal choices. Excuse me. Our solution aims to fill the gap of the individual having to decide on a daily basis their eating and health needs. With a few simple inputs, our interactive AI chatbot will aid the individual to decide on their dietary and meal choices. So what does FitCommunity.ai do? The user of our product will capture in a few input variables such as age, gender, and any pre-existing health conditions which they might have. Based on the user's inputs, our interactive AI chatbot will provide a few healthy meal options that the user can use to eat and live healthy. The chatbot will also provide recipes that the user can follow to make their meals. How it works. Let's just hope this works.
Could be the case now that it actually left for your browser, but you have the presentation in the focus.
Yeah, I'm just gonna share this screen quickly. Wait a second.
While you do that, I can say that now the submission function should be live on the site. You might need to reload a window or so, but and I think it's just the one who created a team that can submit at the moment. But if we should change that function, let us know. Okay, Yatis, sorry, go on.
Okay, cool. So what we have done is we have used the Streamlit application to build in our chatbot functionality, and this is just a basic video demo of what our application does. So there's the input. and the input just says, I am a 35-year-old male with high cholesterol. Could you recommend some healthy meal options? So there you go. It provides you with a few options. And we could also take this a step further to also create recipes and generate recipes out of these meal options as well.
Can you try one for me? Or if I say a text, or is it?
Let me just Let me just share another screen. Go. Okay, so go for it.
I want to have some recipes on gluten-free, high protein, and lactose-free option. And
okay, just say
that. Gluten-free.
Some gluten-free.
High protein and lactose-free.
It's tasty.
Exactly.
And Pavel want an alternative to Coca-Cola Zero.
Okay, let's try this first and see. There you go.
Oatmeal sounds like my diet.
It's just cut down there.
So how is it? How are you fetching the information, if I may ask?
We've created a few prompts already. We've pre-created a couple of prompts which we have run through GPT-3's playground, and it has given us some suggestions. So we've used that to create our prompt list, and then that's where it's building the output from. Yeah.
Okay, so it's running on built-in knowledge in the GPT-3 at the moment.
Yeah, we've provided it with about 4 options already, and then it's just creating and building upon those 4 options.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and can you also exclude something to make it more like impulsive cooking or something like that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so that's one. Another question, also just to understand how wide of a functionality could it give you? Could you potentially add that you are sick and have, I don't know, taking in some kind of drug and then would the system be able to cross-check what's not recommended during that treatment and what's recommended? As an example, right?
Yeah, we would be able to build that functionality in as well, because we do have scope to build all of that and include it. It shouldn't be much of a hassle to include.
I can advise about one thing quickly. So I think the next event we will do, we will try out Pearl AI, which is created by Facebook AI. But they have a type of chatbot that natively have functions to actually go out and extract content. So I think combining that and potentially also adding some GPT-3, you can get a lot of the functionality you actually need out of the box. Something I'm thinking, like business-wise, if you would re-aim it a little. So instead, imagine like when you shop groceries online, it would be pretty sweet to be able to like add 1 or 2 or 3 groceries and then get recepts or suggestions what can be made out of this as a base, which also would then provide upsales and so on for the retailer. But often the problem is that we are very limited in what we like in what we can eat, and especially people growing up today. But we always know like a few ingredients. I think tweak it a bit, so like of course you have all this, so it's excluding everything somebody doesn't want to have, but then be able to, okay, I want it to have this and this ingredients, and then kind of build a recipe from that, and then you potentially could have a interesting product.
I think especially for people who are vegans as well, who don't have many options and things like that, this would be very helpful and useful for them.
I agree. I'm gluten intolerant and lactose intolerant, and so yeah, alt.
I think if we provide it and train it with information, then yeah.
See if we have any questions on the Twitch here. Yeah, we have a question. It's basically about potentially suggesting something that is harmful, like suggesting nuts for a nut allergic. But I yes, that should not happen. I guess there is good databases to hook in on that actually have all the ingredients of any kind of product that is sold in stores.
What we could probably do is include in the user input prompt to say that can you please exclude anything with nuts or anything with soy products, and it will probably create a better meal option for you.
Awesome. Okay, so last question there. Now I know is that you have spent your fair amount of time with GPT-3, but what is your thoughts about this technology, and where do you think we going to be, say, over the next year? Just I know that you have been engaged and used this from a very early stage.
I think from what I've seen this weekend has just opened up my eyes a little bit more to the capabilities of GPT-3, and I would see a whole lot more avenues expanding into things like robotics, gaming, whole lot of other avenues and areas. Yeah, predominantly also in engineering as well, I think. So it's got lots of different use cases.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's just limited towards your thinking and your imagination.
Absolutely, 100% agree there. There are probably thousands of potential business diamonds laying around that nobody are thinking about because they don't have the domain knowledge. For example, extracting the positive and negatives out of a interview and actually have hands-on experience with that, so can easily understand where there is good value, because there is many tasks like this where it really shines. All right, thank you so much. Excited to see.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
And thank you for attending. All right, let's swiftly jump to next one. It's the Cobra contacts. Who do we have? Cobra contracts, not contacts. See, who do we have presenting from there? Do you know, Pavel?
This is one of the the ones that I'm not sure. Let me check. Or maybe someone is present from Cobra Contracts. Oh, Skiba. Example. You will write to him?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should go to the next one and wait for them to come back. If there's someone
someone is coming here now. Hello. Okay, I will unmute you. There we go.
Hi.
Hello. Is it Cobra Contracts?
No, this is What's in a Bad Idea, the one next to that.
Awesome.
Right. Awesome. So I'm Ojaswi, and I realized after listening through all of the amazing presentations before this that my implementation or experiment is not as business friendly as the rest. So I'll just still go on and would love to get feedback from everyone. Let me know if I am able to. Is it audible, visible?
Yes.
Great. Let me just start presenting. So what I'm looking at here is a understanding of behavior detection using GPT-3, and the team here is Ojaswi Gupta, and there was also another participant, Igor, but because of some reasons it didn't work out that way. So moving forward, question: isn't this sentiment classification? Well, yes and no. In a way, because it's more nuanced than a positive or a neutral or a negative sentiment, and also in this particular behavioral detection sort of a project, we are looking at two types of inputs. There is a text-based affect and there is a gesture-based affect. I would be using this word affect very often. You can think of affect as something like a synonym for emotions or expression, but because they have negative connotations on a general basis or in our language, I use affect. So the final reason is the application is more diverse. Now the applications that I'm looking at is understanding organizational behavior for researchers who are studying company cultures or general dynamics in a team. This kind of a study is useful, and for people who are trying to identify conflicts in a security setting, is this a danger to a particular situation. And finally, it's also useful for people who are affect impaired, say people on the autism spectrum, where they don't quite understand or grasp what a particular body language or a particular phrase might mean or connotate to. So well, why GPT-3 and emotions? Like, what is the connection? So I am studying something called affective computing, where we're looking at emotional intelligence from a machine's perspective. When we're trying to break that down, it looks at things like registering or understanding a gesture or an emotion. It also tries to the next part is identifying that or classifying that, when followed by rationalizing or finding the reason why a particular emotion was there in the first place, and like finally you're looking at giving an example, giving a response and finding the right way to respond, expressing. So this particular project focuses on point 2 and 3, because when we're looking at point 1st and 5th, there is already significant advancement in these areas. So the first one that I'm looking at is speech acts. When we are studying linguistics, there are different kinds of speech acts. You can look at speech acts as something like performative utterances. Someone is very dominant in their speech, someone is very assertive, or someone is, needs to say yes less. So that's something that linguists also study. David Cantor is someone that I am familiar with his work, and he has a model called the 4-player model, where he is looking at classifying speech in 4 parts: mover, follower, bystander, and opposer. So as the words sort of give you an idea that someone who starts a conversation or like starts a thought is someone who's a mover. Opposer is someone who says no, I don't agree with that, and likewise. So there are other models like the Rational Speech Act, and there are other models that I am learning about, which have a higher complexity, which is why I experimented with David Cantor's model in this one. And there's part 2 of this, which is gesture emotion recognition. So there are certain body language and non-verbal cues which form almost 65% of all our communications, and it depends on medium to medium. Say we are not able to convey meaning over email as much as in-person meetings, and but these body language cues still stay as a majority communication space. So gestures like tapping one's foot rapidly, or having clenched fists, or just blinking really fast, they have certain implied meaning to us that we have learned over our interaction with the world. But I was curious to see whether GPT-3 with its pre-trained data would be able to identify these, and what happen, will it be able to, from a textual articulation of these gestures, will it be able to figure out what's the implied emotion behind these. So I took inspiration from OpenAI playground examples like classification and advanced tweet classifier, and the results sort of look are pretty interesting here, because and these are very basic applications. I didn't have a lot of time. I was just really exploring this. So in the speech act, if you look at it, I had given it I had trained it on a few prompts before. If you go on the link later on that I will share, you'll be able to see what kind of prompts were there. But and then you have sentences like, I think we should find a middle path instead, and it gives you a mover, and something like, this plan is too simple for a problem of this scale, I refuse to allow this, which it has correctly identified as opposer. So these are certain examples of speech act. And then we have gesture emotion using body language detector. You've got signals like biting nails or nods head, which it has currently identified as thinking and agreement. There were certain which it wasn't able to figure out, like clenched fists, which is other option. I don't quite know why that happened. But yes, I was changing the frequency and the number of tokens. So it was giving interesting results. Next steps. So I have previously worked on a project with Purdue University with a few friends of mine, where we were doing detection, tracking, and activity recognition. This is one of the results for the same project, where you're able to, through gaze tracking and activity recognition, sort of give an idea what is the level of attention that a person has. So what I would like to do is continue that work using GPT-3's sense making abilities, because we have achieved point one where we are able to identify or register what the action is, but what that action could mean or what in a more effective context is something we could learn from GPT-3, as we saw in my previous presentation. And what else can be done? So there are elements like identifying reasons for a behavioral expression. Say if someone is biting their lips, what does that mean? Are they angry? Are they nervous? So it's very context dependent, but I also wanted to figure out correlations between, say, an environment. Someone is really cold, or they have been waiting outside for very long, so waiting time. So for a user, that could correlate to impatience. And yeah, that is one. And the second one is determining the right response. So computer agents usually have peripheral devices which sort of help them in expression, like the speaker, the screen and whatnot. Yes, we don't necessarily want a sassy robot all the time, but sometimes having a empathetic agent in times of distress or grief can really make technology be a lot more useful. And even for human agents, like the people on the autistic spectrum can sort of be benefited with being able to figure out how to respond to a certain situation. And that's about it. That's all I had. And I'll close this now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If anyone have questions, please ask in the Twitch chat. Okay, cool. So yeah, I would really like to hear your opinion firstly on working with GPT-3, as you have experience working with other AI models and so on. How did you experience working with GPT-3 and combining that with the things you are doing?
So I had been looking at communication, there were certain articles like by Believer Mag where they had sort of talked about content generation from GPT-3, and the results were so fascinating because they were just too good they were scary. And I was very curious on what I could do if I got the opportunity. And when I did do through the hackathon, I was very sure that I wanted to do more than just create content. I wanted to analyze it and classify it. And when I saw the results, I was very surprised. But then when I was reading about the amount of hyper parameters that there exist, and the complexity of the algorithm, which while as a playground sort of a implementation we don't really see, it made sense to me. And I am super curious in how we can push this further. And yeah, super excited.
Awesome. Do you have any question, Pavel?
Yeah, like what you want to do is combine emotions and context with it. It has a wide range of uses, either in security, factories, people with autism. What would be your first target? Like, which did you think business-wise, which is the most attractive for you, at least at this point of time and what you know already? Like,
right.
Who would be your first client?
Well, I have been looking at research in organizational behavior, because a lot of companies, large companies, have been trying to figure out if there exists a toxic environment in there. Like, they always want to know how healthy their teams are. So that is something I believe from a research angle I will get more freedom on. But if I'm looking at profitability, I feel large factories and people where what do you call it, compliance is important, they would find it more beneficial. So it would be either one of these, whichever I get access to.
That's interesting. So you would probably maybe prefer a social impact, a positive social impact if it's well funded, but you do consider the profit side, that the companies is where the money is going, right?
Right.
Okay, I agree.
All right, let me take a look at Twitch here if we have. Okay, no specific questions. So thank you so much, and thank you for the
Thank you,
presentation.
guys.
Very interesting use case, and yeah, I hope to see you at future events.
Definitely.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so now we have the last one, and they want us to play a video. All right, let me see. I will need to set this up. Currently seems like we potentially have some issue with the submission function. We are working on solving that. Okay. Mm. I need to update.
Maybe maybe you could already tell us about the concept of the project, if it's okay with you guys. Before the movie starts, could you unmute, Matthias? Unmute.
Yeah. Wait, now it's multitasking here.
Okay. I
Sorry
thought you
about that.
already. It's cool.
Running streams and updating websites. Okay, now you should be unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So thanks. By the way, we sent the video a couple of minutes ago. So I mean, Matthias, you should have it. Is it possible for you to load it?
Yeah, I'm working on that right now here.
Because okay, I could. The thing is, we can't present the.
I have the video
our
here, so
solution.
I think I can play it.
You can play it.
Yeah, I should be able to do that. So I can try it now simply, and it will
Okay.
show it.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's try that. We'll see. People in the Twitch stream, please tell me if there is no sound, and don't look so much at my tabs.
Can't see the slides though.
Oh wait, now the sound is going around. No, this doesn't seem to work. Expected. Can someone on the stream just confirm? Did you hear the sound from this YouTube video, or not?
Yes, we hear the sound, but we can't see the video.
Can't see the video.
Maybe just pause the video.
And what we want to do is a simple tool.
No one can see the screen, so I think Matthias, you need to do something because or change the way how we present, because otherwise it's not going to work.
But okay, it shows that it should show the screen.
Does this work?
We'll see. Monitor.
Yes.
Then I will just show it.
Okay, you can do that. That's great.
And okay.
Okay. You need to share the screen then, Pavel, and then you run it. Okay, there it is. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for organizing this hackathon. So as you can see, we are Team Cobra, and we're excited to share this with you today, even though it's a video. We just recorded it before sharing it with you. So our challenge, okay, that we're looking at is that 90% of consumers accept legal terms and conditions without reading them.
Can you increase the volume?
80% of consumers believe that companies use their personal data and feel uncomfortable about how such data is shared.
That's the maximum.
So we want to look at also other contracts. So the problem is that this affects also user agreements and other, as you can see, NDAs, privacy policy, terms, conditions, and some of them have very high stakes, such as convertible notes or real estate agreements. And what we want to do is we want to propose to give those consumers and later also businesses a simple tool to review contract details and provide a readable, plain English summary of its key clauses. So the algorithm would also alert them if anything is unusual. So for example, we have fed an entire paragraph from an NDA contract, and GPT-3 was able to accurately identify the meaning of the clause as well as quoting the corresponding text in legalese. So at this point, I'm going to share you, Krishna is going to share with you how that looks like on our front end. So Krishna, you want to share? So we had a very short time, but in those 24 hours, we built a very minimalistic version of the tool. And practically speaking, so the user will have to input the text of the agreement that he's considering. And after that, he can also upload files in the future, and there will be a Chrome plugin. And so what happens here is, so he uploads the text, and here we uploaded an NDA. And our tool is able to analyze the key clauses and conveniently summarize it in a table. So for example, it summarizes the length of the contract, its coverage, and the consequence in case of breach. And our tool, can also, as you can see here, we just clicked on one of the clauses. So the reason is, we only promise to help the user save time. So to cover the case where GPT-3 is wrong, we always ask the user to verify each of the clauses himself. If in doubt, and if he needs that certainty, he can do that by clicking at the clause in the table, which will highlight the right spot within the text. Just like with other tools, the ultimate responsibility and liability lies within the user of the tool. So I'll go back and share. Thanks for sharing that, Krishna. So share my screen. Okay, I hope you guys can see this. Krishna, is that good?
No, you are showing all of your desktop.
What's that?
Can you make it full screen? Make it full screen. Yeah. Now.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, better.
Okay, so speaking of competitors, this is not a new problem, and others have attempted to solve it. For example, Seal has, is a company which has been using AI since 2010 to analyze contracts in the B2B space and has been acquired by DocuSign last year. Seal offers batch reviews of large amount of contracts, for example, during corporate restructurings. But most of these tools cost north of $500 per month per user and are not accessible for retail or for smaller businesses. So we propose to take advantage of the new level playing field offered by transformers, and move quickly and decisively by starting with the consumer space. GPT-3 will offer us a strong tailwind advantage to reduce costs and also enable very new features such as human-like Q&A interface. We can envision the end user asking questions to the tool in natural speech. For example, does this application share my data with third parties, which will trigger response with intuitive text and with maybe follow-up questions as well that the user can make. The range of possibilities is really large, and we think it will benefit both consumer and small businesses. And through that, we differentiate ourselves from the competition. So our go-to-market strategy is we want to start with training the model on simple contracts. We'll work closely with professional lawyers to describe what is standard versus non-standard, and we'll fine-tune GPT-3 accordingly. Later, we can expand the functionality and focus on the B2B space, as you can see in this summary here, and work our way up by focusing on big buyers for recurring monthly revenue. So this is our team. Yeah, we've worked hard in the last couple of hours and last day to make this happen, but yeah, we believe this can go much further after the hackathon and if we get enough support. So thank you for your attention, everyone.
Okay. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I hope you could hear the audio.
Yeah, I could hear it. I think it was okay for people. Okay. I was half lost here trying to fix everything, so I don't have super. We will see if we have any good questions in the chat.
So maybe I will ask this time the question. Like I noticed that your strategy is to be quick to the market. So do you think like your first clients will be individual users that want to help with divorce papers, whatever, agreements with buying something, or would you target a small medium enterprise to help it in business relations, maybe international? What would be your first client and your sweet spot on the market in the first period we want to help to?
Yeah, thank you. It's a good question. So I think a lot of the value lies in the SME space. So those which don't have enough revenue to afford the other tools which are much more expensive, but those which have enough to spend like $100 per month, $50 per month, or more. And we think that we can start with consumers though, because we think that this will allow us to spread quickly, and it will also allow us to validate the concept. So we can start with a couple of standard contracts that users need, for example, terms of services and user agreements and maybe NDAs, and offer this as a plugin, and then people using that and seeing that it works, and then converting eventually, and maybe converting their own business to the tool itself.
Do you think you will add also like little tips from legal perspective? So what do you think?
So your question is, if we're able to also help in other areas.
Yeah, like go outside of what's written on this agreement and understand the implication, because you have a lot of legal
So we think that there's a lot that we can offer, from advice to general guidance. There's a lot of kind of, it's like different additional services that we can offer. And yeah, we can explain, we can guide the users through standards, terms of conditions. We can help them understand what is normal versus not. And, I think that is things that we can plug into the tool.
Okay. that's nice.
I mean, our goal is to become like a one-stop shop for all kinds of questions regarding legal. And using GPT-3, we will be able to create some kind of advanced chatbot that can respond to queries automatically. So the most important aspect, of course, is letting the user submit their contracts, but then we can imagine a range of services that come afterwards. And GPT-3 has been really good at legalese as well, as much as it's been good with code with Codex.
I have a question here in the chat. So it's a great use case. What is the practical accuracy?
Practical accuracy, I think, is something we need to measure. But on the prompts that we've tried, it's been pretty good so far. I mean, the algorithm has been able to extract, GPT-3 has been able to extract key clauses from large paragraphs, and each time it was it was on the point. I think it's really a question of fine-tuning enough. Now we didn't have much time to spend a lot of time labeling data, but on the initial results it was pretty good.
Cool. So did you use the fine-tuning function? Or
yes, well, we didn't use the fine-tune. We did end-shot learning on this one for the hackathon, and that worked. But there's a variety of cases. We need to find the edge cases, etc. And for this, I think we will need to do fine-tuning, so that we can really ingest thousands of different contracts and get a wide range of possibilities on what is so that we become accurate enough and that users trust us.
Yeah, so one function you have in the fine tuning is you can basically just, instead of, so normally you do the AB, the input output. So if this then that, I mean, that's kind of how it works, but in a bigger perspective. But I also seen that you can just supply text to get it to understand a certain jargon and start to adapt a certain language. So instead of supplying AB, you can just supply a lot of contracts, and then it will start to actually produce text in such a way that could be that you wanted to do. Yeah, I just need some message here. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's a great approach to first try it out, like in the playground and with the built-in information GPT-3 have, and then start to extend it. You also have the segmatic search, which is used in the answers, but can also be used standalone. And this one is great to search through huge amount of documents to actually specify those parts that have the content you are looking for, and there it really shines also, as it can take a normal human input that can come in many different ways and actually sort it down there. So yeah, both look into this fine tuning of jargons and so on, and the segmatic search, because I think both of those can be very useful for your specific case. So I want to ask you also.
Thank you.
What was your experience of GPT-3? Have you used it before, or was this the first time?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I have used GPT-3 before, and now it's been one of the most concrete applications, like where I really believe there's a business opportunity behind it, because there's a lot of companies who have worked on that problem before, but none of them have used transformers, because we've looked at all of these tools when we did the hackathon, like in the last 24 hours, and it seems that there is a lot of things to be done there. So I'm really excited about this because it seems like one of the nice use cases of GPT-3, and not much. I haven't found much on legal and GPT-3 yet, and I think we could be one of the first. That's quite exciting.
Yeah, definitely, it should be a area it really could shine in, and as you say, there are a lot of companies or startups trying to solve the problem in different ways, but often using more traditional methods or weaker models. So yeah, here it's superior, and especially if you smash on some fine tuning, and so you can really get it where you want. All right.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank everyone. I just the last 24 hours, by the way, just before we finish, I had a lot of fever and I went to the hospital, etc. But I was still able to do this hackathon. It was crazy. I was like in the hospital with my laptop, and it was like the nurses coming in and out, taking my temperature, and I almost went to the surgery department. But I continued, and we did this together as a team. So it's quite an event here for us to be able to present to you guys in the video. So thank you for organizing this. It's been awesome.
Oh, that's some real dedication. I hope you feel better and will be with us on future events.
Yeah, the adrenaline has helped reduce the fever, so it's good.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Do we have anyone left, or?
Yeah, the last one I will share also the video,
Okay.
and there will be no one from that team presenting, but I will brief a little bit about the project, and maybe when we do the clip later, then we will make a better coverage of this project.
Great. I will just mention before we go with this one that it potentially some issue with the submissions on the site, but we will sort it out, and once those are up, we simply will send out an email to everyone. Yeah, as you know, we kind of put this whole system together as we was going, so there have been a few bugs and UX improvements needed to do. But yeah, we are in a consistent iteration. So at next event, we will not have the problems we had this one, at least. So have some patience with this submission function, and we send out some information once it's live. All right, Pavel, go ahead. All right, I think we lost Pavel here, fortunately. Hopefully he will come back soon.
I'm back.
There he is.
Did the share screen not work, or did it work?
Yeah, you kind of dropped out just when it started to load.
Okay. Let me try one last time. Share screen. Well, it's 30 seconds, so let's try once more. And it will be the last presentation. Okay. I'm still on?
Yeah, but I see the Discord.
And right now, do you see the YouTube? Sorry, do you see the YouTube? Anyone?
No. Discord.
Okay. Better?
Yeah, now we see the desktop. No, it's a video. Yeah.
Scammers we love and scam we trust. My African girl talks tough. Saying she can whip it up, dip, splash the Gary's tough. My gift card comes with funds. Please swipe, transaction done. Swipe that gift card once, dip, splash, let's have some fun. Scammers we love and scam we trust. My African girl talks tough.
Okay, so also a little bit of a voiceover, because the movie is pretty quick. This solution that they are doing is using a token solution to check what's being used in a company if someone wants to scam. So it's like a cybersecurity for phishing, analyzing text, if like we see here. So and it detects patterns probably. Not too sure. We need to analyze it, Matthias, later. But I will go back to the movie now.
Cinch, you can whip it up, dip, splash, the Gary's tough. My gift card comes with funds, please swipe, transaction done. Swipe that gift card once, dip, splash, let's have some fun. Dip, splash, the Gary's tough. Tell your girl don't talk too much. Bring her here.
Okay, that's it. So
I like the music.
music.
Nice.
Yeah, it was dynamic.
I always put
it's
music on AI clips to make it a bit
yeah.
nice.
And in general, just to like, we will probably work with that team to make a better movie with some voiceover in English. But in general, it's a pretty nice use case of analyzing conversation inside of a company and giving tokens, and this way preventing and stopping extortions, probably phishing attacks, and so on, like looking for patterns, text, what's written, and so on. So cybersecurity in general is a very nice topic for investments. We all know that it's also important for companies, even for users. So pretty nice use case from that team.
Yeah, they say you have this movie that is based on a true happening, like Catch Me If You Can. It's a guy who got very famous because he was traveling with what they call American Airlines for free by pretending to be a pilot. But after that, he got hired by the CIA, and there is some talks like he talks at Google, but he works with security for companies, but he say at the end of this talk that like there is two reasons companies get hacked, and that is either somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do. Okay, so either somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do, or they did something they were not supposed to do. So either that somebody misses to actually do something, or they take a wrong decision and actually make an action they shouldn't take. So I think systems like this could be a good second layer to at least give some kind of pointer if something are a bit out of the normal scope.
You are right. Like multi-layer security is like the big trend. Even in our fund, we like have already 2 cybersec companies and are looking for more. So a good area to explore GPT-3 in, definitely. Okay, that was it.
Yes, so that is it. So yeah, thank you everyone that was with us this weekend. I guess we will do the next one in let's aim to do it in a month from now. Thinking about looking at Parallel AI from Facebook for that event, and then we will just continue to lift in different new AI technologies that we think is exciting, and just keep to unlock access to these ones. Like I mentioned, there are potentially some issues around the submission function, but don't stress around it. We will simply send out an email once it's live and with any additional information. If there is anyone that would feel that, okay, I do not want my presentation or so to be public, then let us know. Else we will try to post. We are also going to deploy a function probably tomorrow that makes it possible for people coming from the outside to actually look at your projects and submissions. But otherwise, thank you everyone for attending this, and keep a eye on the inbox and social media. We will send information there both once the submission is live, once we pick the winner, and also about upcoming events. And if anyone stumble upon something new and exciting within the AI space, it doesn't just need to be NLP stuff. We are interested in many other things also, like classification, video, guns are very cool, and various other technologies recently released. Let us know and we take a look, and if it's possible, we try to run it on one of the future events. All right. Thank you, everyone that came, everyone that helped out, and we are super excited to have moved this over to Discord and moved it online and found a concept that seems to work and be exciting for people. So yeah, we're looking forward what's coming next, and yeah, let's see you all in the future and hopefully on the upcoming events. So yeah, thank you so much, and thank you, Pavel, for helping out with this. And
bye, guys.
Big thank you to Matteus also, that have been working with the web app non-stop here on during the event, because we have basically built it as this event have been going on. So yeah, but as they say, once you're happy over something, you are too late. So we really MVP'd it this time, and it worked out. All right.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for organizing this.